assassinate and weaken the image of the presidency to further the power of the bureaucracy and the strong men that are around the president. That's why they only get people who are compromised, like George W. Bush or Barack Obama now, who have all these skeletons in their closet. And so that's why he was set up from within, and the plumbers were basically set up from within. That's the word I've gotten from a lot of good sources and what the evidence shows.
Mm-hmm.
We know there's deep throat inside the White House.
Yeah, well, that was...
It was Alexander Haig and a composite of Alexander Haig and, of course, Herr Kissinger.
But Herr Kissinger. But you think Nixon was, or what you're saying is Nixon was just kind of a setup there? He was he wasn't as involved as they said in the end? No,
Nixon, it's on the tapes. I mean, Nixon was in there, and that, talk about digging a hole for your enemies and you fall into it, or setting a trap for your enemies and you get caught by it. He was recording everybody, and, there it is on the tapes going, Bohemian Grove, north of San Francisco, most goddamn faggy thing you've ever seen. They're in there, orgies. I mean, the rituals. And, of course, Helmut Schmidt, German chancellor, wrote about that as well. Oh, I love the satanic rituals we do in Germany, but I love the ones at the Grove. I enjoy it.
What was the reason? What was the reason for getting Nixon out?
It was about damaging. They were done with him. It was about a sacrifice.
But he had what? He had what? 2 years left?
It was about damaging the image of the presidency.
Oh, okay.
It was about lowering morale.
For what purpose?
To demoralize people. They'd had problems with presidents trying to be presidents. And so it's about making them be these, kept creatures. I mean, let's go back 3,000 years ago to the Qin, what China is named after today. And they would come to the elites, the king and the queen. These would be the grandchildren. These would be the grandchildren. Well, to understand what's happening currently, got to understand the past. The grandchildren of the war chief who'd unified China, who'd actually been tough and intelligent. The grandchildren were little spoiled brats. And so the king's court, the wise men would come and say, Emperor, you need to grow your fingernails out to about 2 feet long. You're too godlike to feed yourself, and we must have a groom with a stool. Of course, the British royals have their butts wiped as well. And so it's all about controlling them. And, we must bind your feet. You must be carried. You're not allowed to touch the ground. And actually what it does is it makes them these kept creatures who are controlled by the power behind the throne. And so this was a similar 20th century or 21st century model of what the Aztecs did to their ruling elite to turn them into kept creatures, and what the British did. I mean, about Groom of the Stool, right? I mean, the Queen of England has her butt wiped, right?
I didn't know that still went on. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, they officially got rid of it about 90 years ago. But no, they still have a toilet attendant. It's normally a high-level government official.
Oh, see that?
And of course, George W. had a groom of the stool, where they have a special toilet and then they examine his feces.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's just something for your show. I know that's something you're listening.
Now, is that? I've heard that. Is that to see?
No, that's Associated Press. I mean, no.
No. I mean, I've heard that. Is the purpose of that?
Droppings have always been examined.
Is the purpose of that to see if he's sick or to see food allergies or any of that stuff to see where his health is?
Yes, and his crap is also national security. I mean, for the last 50 years, they've had a special toilet, but they just admitted it under Bush to humiliate him further. But yes, they claim that foreign governments might get in the sewers to get his poop, to find out what he is, what drugs he's using. He was a well-known drug addict.
Hey, Alex, to bring it to current times here, the oil spill. Is there any conspiracy there that's starting to... The
entire thing is 100% a staged event from pillar to post. I could give you the breakdown of that if you'd like.
Give us some basic.
This is keeping Obama kept, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, this is how they're grooming his stool.
What do you got? What do you got on the oil spill? Just the basic facts.
Well, hey, you guys, if you get powerful enough, maybe you can have a groom of the stool, huh?
Yeah,
of that.
I've paid to be one.
That's true.
You'd like to groom the Queen Elizabeth?
No, not after 1958 when she started to get a little fucking long in the tooth. When she was young and fixing automobiles, I would have eaten her ass, sure.
I mean, you notice that.
Yes, Alex.
Hey, you notice that she is Queen Elizabeth II.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Number 2.
Number 2.
See, one of them Roman as the Romans, huh? Talk about some poop with you guys.
All right, listen, Alex. This
will be a YouTube classic. No, seriously.
The oil spill. Let's go.
All right, let me get out of this mode for a moment and get serious. Hold on one second. In fact, you guys talk for a second. Let me actually pull up those files in my mind. Go on.
Oh, is that what he has to do?
No, he's Googling something.
File. He's Googling something.
He's Googling something.
Okay, here we go. Would you like me to go over the information?
Yes, please, Alex.
Okay, let's set the stage here with what's happening with the oil spill. Mm-hmm. Let's go back to the week before. The CEO of British Petroleum, he'd just been replaced. The former chairman and CEO had been the chairman of Goldman Sachs, simultaneously the most powerful shareholder in the worldwide private central bank cartel. Always at the scene. Speak of the devil, he shall appear. The CEO of Goldman Sachs, they dumped 44% the week before the oil spill. Mm-hmm. You have the CEO of BP separately dumping over a third of his. This is all mainstream news. Mm-hmm. You have Vanguard that holds the majority of Barack Obama's millions in mutual fund money. That was fully dumped the week before. Fully dumped. Talk about insider trading. And they weren't dumping specifically. Other big central banks are on record now dumping their stock, not of other oil companies, but of BP specifically.
Again, isn't this very obvious?
Yeah. It goes back to that obvious question. Why not do it way before the actual
Because they
event?
don't care. Their religion is about doing it right out in front of you. Now, but that's how they acclimate your subconscious mind. They know your subconscious mind is thousands of times more powerful than your conscious mind. In your subconscious right now, you know the truth. In your gut, you know the truth. You know things aren't right in the world. You know you're being lied to. You know things are getting worse. So, yes, but as long as your subconscious can be told something and in plain view, it feels comfortable as if it's in power. And so there isn't anxiety in knowing. That's probably why they let me do what I do. They think little of you. I think more of you. And they think this is just going to acclimate you and is known as revelation of the method. But let me continue to run through this.
Why make trouble for themselves by allowing you to do it? There's so easy ways to stop you from saying what you say. Again, freedom of information. All these little things they could do to make their lives astronomically easier. I'm sorry.
Let me answer that briefly and then get back into try not to be long-winded because I am long-winded, and just give you the basic on the Goldman Sachs coup in the Gulf.
Okay.
But this is the issue. I've studied it. 50 years ago, 40 years ago, 30 years ago, they would kill you deader than a hammer. People wrote books about this stuff. They would get beaten to death on their way to the grocery store in a small town. They'd get run over. They'd be killed. They'd die of a 12-hour cancer. And it's now been declassified that they did have cancer weapons programs. But side issue. Now, now there's so many people out here speaking out that they found that when they smash us flatter than a pancake and when they kill us, it only hurts them more. Now, they are starting to prosecute whistleblowers. They didn't do that in the past. Pentagon whistleblower releases video of troops killing kids and laughing in Baghdad. They're charging that guy with felonies, and they're trying to hunt down. Even MSNBC reported that there were kill orders for the guy that released the Pentagon Papers, Daniel Ellsberg, and that there may be kill orders for the head of WikiLeaks. So if you're releasing original bombshell, prima facie bullet points that will hurt them, they tend to kill your ass deader than a hammer if you don't release it first. Once you release it, you're safe. So that's why they haven't killed me. They have tried to buy me off and things like that. Now,
they've tried to buy you off?
Absolutely.
Who's tried to buy you off?
Well, I do wear a journalist hat, and when a company or a group comes to me and says, this is off record, and I've even signed a non-disclosure in one case. When somebody comes to you and says, we're going to give you this proposal, and you give us your word, it won't, be on the record. But I've had major radio networks in the past and others come to me and say, one more than 10 years ago, and they offered me 15 times what I was making, and then
So why wouldn't you reveal who they were? If you're revealing government stuff that could be, why not expose these people who are part of it?
Because I have honor.
That's not honor, though. You're helping them.
I don't mess with people's families. I don't call for people to mess with politicians or globalist families because I don't want my families messed with. It's the rules of war.
But Alex,
and if somebody comes to you and offers you a deal and says it's off record, and unless it's criminal, it's off record. And
so you would honor these people who are helping to perpetuate and to keep these things going?